And recording.
Yeah, it's weird. As soon as the recording stops, all the banter dies.
That's not true.
So much good conversation happens. It's like, we need to get this going, and then it dies.
The stuff.
Let's get a roll on.
Shit.
That's
Talking
right.
shit.
We can't keep talking about that.
Talking all this kind of shit.
Talking that shit.
I mean, for reals even. Uh-oh, we're live.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's a cat going in circles, y'all. Forever.
Welcome to Verbal Assault. This is a podcast. Talk shit and shit. And we all go in circles. My name is Nathan Eckel. We're live. We're going. We're going to build the energy up slowly tonight. Yeah.
Like a big rig rolling down the highway, you know. He doesn't just get up to 60 immediately. He's got to take his time, man. He's got a big load behind him. He's got a lot of stuff in the back.
Yeah, but once he gets going,
Oh, man.
can't stop.
It's hard to stop him.
Even if he knows there's some roadhead up ahead.
Up ahead, yeah. We'll get there as quick as he can.
Dave 70, how you feel about roadhead?
I've seen a couple.
Yeah.
You've seen a couple.
Seen a couple.
All right.
One of them was even in a dream.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How was this?
Well,
What was
it's
the
hard to
stream?
remember. I was wearing my hands on my feet, and it was not a good time.
Huh.
Wow. That sounds like a really fucked up dream, man. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Wearing my feet on my hands. Don't tell me where to wear my feet.
Dave, can you define roadhead for me?
I mean, not in open forum.
He doesn't know what this is.
This is a Christian show, you know.
It is a Christian show. Steve Marr, how are you?
Well, one time I was on a road trip with a buddy of mine from out west, and we were either going to Montana area or coming back from Montana area. And we thought it'd be funny. There was this pickup truck, just old beater pickup truck that kept, like, we're just in the same area of traffic with this guy, you know. And he looked like the kind of guy that would not appreciate homosexuality.
Oh, no.
So I'm driving, and Obi's like, he kind of just leans over, like puts his head kind of towards my lap, you know. And by the way, he had like sipped some eggnog. It was that time of year, so he had a cheek full of eggnog, and we made sure to pass by this guy and kind of like hang there, so we'd look over and then like see the back of Obi's head down in my lap, and then. And then we got ahead of him a little bit, and he rolled the window down and spit the eggnog out onto the road. And then, like 10 minutes later, he comes up on our other side, and he passes, and he's got like his head back in the up against the backrest, and he's just doing like this with his hand up and down, like because he thinks he's making fun of us, right? So he's just going hand up and down, just like holding back a laugh. That was my roadhead story.
I thought when he came back around, you were gonna catch him like it looked like
Jerking
he was
it.
beating off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally,
Oh.
I've been waiting for this whole trip.
Yeah, there you go.
Pat, how's it going?
Yeah, great. Got a fun story for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring it up once you get done
Okay.
introducing everybody.
Okay. Becca
Okay.
Penland.
Don't patronize me. Go ahead, Patrick. Tell your story.
Oh, you want to know the story now?
Let's go hear the story.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. I'm good. I'm fine. Go
Okay,
ahead.
pull it up, Steve-O.
I've got it. Here, I'll share it for you guys.
This is
That's
my
always
coworker showed it to me, so she sent me the link, and
great.
then
No way.
I sent it to them. 15 boys contract rabies after having sex with a donkey.
No.
15 of them.
15, and there may possibly be more.
How can that be?
How can donkeys get rabies? Let's get that off our
Yeah.
chest.
Oh,
All right.
anything can, yeah. Well, at least mammals probably. I don't know if everything can, but
Here.
I thought Tide Pods was worse.
Well, this is from Morocco World News. It's a small
Figures.
village in Sidi Kamel. 15 teens were hospitalized and treated for rabies after they gang raped a local donkey.
Talk about karma.
I was gonna say the donkey showed them.
Yeah. Apparently, they said it is not uncommon for bestiality.
Oh.
Huh.
In
Wait
the
a
small village of Sidi Kamel.
Since when is rabies a sexually transmitted
It can be
disease?
transmitted through saliva. So if
They were making out with the donkey too?
Were they giving that donkey roadhead?
they gave the donkey head, donkey gave them head.
Damn,
That's just wrong.
Yeah. So
wrong key.
I just thought that was free.
That's good, man. That's good.
It's cr-
Is.
I mean, 15 of them.
You can possibly get zoonosis, which is it can be transmitted to humans and get cysts, rabies, or death. Yeah, it's disgusting.
That sounds
I
like
can
a host of
imagine-
the week show.
I can imagine one guy 15 donkeys, but not the other way around.
Just have rabies free of donkeys.
I mean, it's almost as if to be in part of the gang, you have to fuck the donkey. It's
That's
some
a weird gang.
initiation ritual or
would-
something.
Why? How could you? I couldn't.
You have to go by, Elmira. You have to go. You have to stop by.
I just could not be sexually attracted to a donkey.
Oh, have
Don't
you
see how it
tried?
would work.
I don't know if the point's being sexually attracted to the donkey.
It was just a harmless prank. Fuck a donkey. You guys ever did that one?
Definitely care to explain something.
Pin the dick in the donkey?
I mean, that reminds me of somebody that I used to know that would say, "What? Everybody's fingered a dog before." No, no one has ever fingered a dog
Who
before.
said that?
Oh, he'd rather not be named.
Wow.
It's not Johnny.
We've
No,
never-
it's somebody I know. I know who it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world.
Yeah, the way he was telling it was just like everybody's done.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah.
Why are you getting so upset about
You
it?
have to practice. Somehow.
The same guy that get out of a tree and wiped his ass on a branch and
Ooh,
then got stuck in the tree and couldn't get down.
sounds rough.
No pants.
In order to limit the risk of rabies spreading, the local government is searching for anyone who approached or admired the donkey closely in order to make sure that they are vaccinated.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That is Belton's sexy donkey. Look at those hindquarters.
Nobody can resist
I mean-
the rabies-fested donkey.
That's too much, man.
And then, for whatever reason, it decides to there's just a one-sentence paragraph. Just this month, an Arkansas man was arrested for having sex with the family's pet donkey.
So my dad used to frequent this cigar shop in town. It's closed now, but he would hang out there like every day in the afternoon. And he became friends with this guy who was a local sheriff. He was like a sheriff's deputy here forever. And, we're out in fucking East Tennessee in the mountains. And he said there was this guy famously known as the Bucket Man.
Mm.
And he was like a local farmyard animal rapist.
That's
So he had like a bucket, like a paint bucket, not like one of those bigger ones, like a big white bucket. I don't know how many gallons.
5 gallon.
5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
Called the Bucket Man because he would carry that bucket around the different farms and stuff, sneak in and set that bucket up behind whatever cow or horse.
No.
Yeah, so he could stand on it to fuck whatever that animal was.
In my
and they
head-
had all caught this guy multiple times
In my head,
doing this shit.
I thought he was like going to be filling the bucket up with their semen or something.
No, with his semen.
The gallon size.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. How they really caught him? That sounds like a rumor that like they really hated that guy. It just
I mean, this sounds like something that they need to make a folk song about.
They probably have.
Haywood Banks.
Man, old Bucket
Here-
Man,
here's looking
is
at you,
so
Haywood.
lonely. He's
And that-
tired of his hand.
Same area.
Wow.
There you go. The song is written.
All right, Dave.
You heard it here first, folks.
We're gonna set up some recording time to
Bob
record
Dylan,
your
eat
folk
your heart
songs.
out.
There was a guy I delivered papers with out not with, but we would all meet at the same warehouse and get our papers and go. And he delivered up in that same area, like Townsend area, which people that are in that area, that's like right before you get to the Smoky Mountains. Townsend is this tiny little town. There's really nothing much up there.
So backwoods.
And there was this place he would go to. He'd come around the corner, and every night he would see this fucking guy out by his mailbox jerking off, like completely naked, jerking off. He would just see him just go. And the guy obviously was waiting for him to come around.
Would he wave at him?
Well, here's the thing. He would
howdy, neighbor,
jerking off, just acting crazy and shit. And then one time, he was doing it, and then he was like trying to wave him in.
Oh, okay.
Like, come on over, come on, man. And then before he was going out there one night, he met a guy that he knew that was a cop, and he was like, "Hey, I just want you to follow behind me keep your headlights off and just follow behind me, and I'm just going to show you something. Just watch." It was. I came around there. The guy was just jerking off by the road.
Oh my god!
Like he was just needing a friend or something. I don't know. Yeah.
He was probably on Craigslist for a while.
Yeah.
Now
they've
that.
got rid of it. Yeah.
So what happens when you don't have Craigslist? You're out fucking beating off at 4 a.m. by the road.
Hoping to get the newspaper man to come in.
Yeah. Well,
that's a news sentinel right there.
Yeah.
Got any more like bestiality or semen stories? Anybody? This has been.
I'd rather
beating
not.
off stories.
That's too much.
Oh,
15 boys.
Yeah.
Well, when I heard about Anthony Bourdain today,
yes.
I got up and I heard that news
Sad.
that he died from hanging himself. I did wonder if it was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
Is it one of those autoerotic asphyxiation things where his friend finds him and he's like, "What's going to be worse, hanging himself or autoerotic asphyxiation?" Yeah. So maybe he cleaned things up, and then we just
I wouldn't doubt he was
himself.
into that kind of stuff. So he traveled around everywhere.
He was a traveler.
Yeah.
Traveling is an indicator for people that like to. Yeah, that's true.
Traveling around.
Yeah.
Patrick's profiling services.
Yeah. It's never failed me.
Yeah,
I gotta remind myself what he looks. There, that guy. Okay.
Eric found him. This is his big friend, another chef, Eric Repair.
Eric
Okay.
who?
Eric Repair.
Eric Repair.
Eric
Repair.
Repair. Eric Repair.
ER, something like that. But he has an 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad, man. Sad stuff.
Yeah.
Filming.
Yeah,
He went to France to film something.
okay.
Yeah.
He's very well loved, man. Everybody I ever heard talk about him just loved him.
And he was in the middle of his series. He's doing the CNN. That's what he was.
Parts
filming there.
Unknown, right? Is that right? Is that his show?
Yeah, that's where he was.
Dude, I used to be a huge fan of his. I kind of fallen away in the past few years, but I think I read like 3 of his books.
Why do you think he killed himself, Nathan?
You didn't read his shit.
Because you fell away.
Probably lifelong substance abuse and depression would be my guess.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he had gotten past
Yeah,
the
who
substance abuse part. I mean, I heard an interview with him, and it was after his daughter was born, and I mean, who's to say he could be lying? I don't know, but he seemed as Anthony Bourdain does, very straightforward, very blunt, and out there, and seemed convincing that is he had found his way, but he made no bones about the fact that he did a lot of that, a lot, and also that's part of the culture in the industry too.
Yeah.
So, and that he is not alone, and that many, do that. But I don't know. It's sad. When I saw it this morning, I went, "Oh,
Yeah. That's the thing. Like this guy and somebody on Twitter that knew him, and I can't remember who it was, but they said, I ask people all the time if you could do anything you wanted to do, like if you could have any job. I can't tell you how many times everybody, people said, I just want to do what Anthony Bourdain does. And I even think when I've been asked a question, I know I've said like, I don't travel around and eat food, that's and that's what he did.
Yeah.
To think about that, like there's a guy who seemingly had everything, but still, for whatever reason, and we don't know, he decided to end it.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, I don't want to make a judgment on it because I just don't understand. So, I mean, I don't know what would put me to that point.
I don't understand either. And to me, from what I knew of him, he seemed like a man that was very sure of himself. And so that's why it was kind of really, really shocking to me this morning when I read it. I've never been like, a huge fan of his. I've never followed his stuff or anything, but the things that I have seen and heard, he just seemed like a very confident, sure of himself man. And I read that this morning and I was shocked. It was the very first thing I looked at when I woke up today too. So it was a coherency issue too, I'm sure. But I have a hard time believing that anything was a suicide. I don't know if it's because I watch too much Law and Order. I don't know what it is, but immediately, yeah, my brain goes to that wasn't a suicide. There's no way, because I don't want to believe it, I guess, about some of these people. But that's just where my mind immediately goes, detective mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mind goes, he had everything. Then I go, well, what sultry background skeleton came out of the closet that he went, I just can't face this.
Yeah.
And it's being that way, but my mind's going there more and more with our culture, society. Is like, I don't know any of this. I'm not making, so I'm just thinking, what's the other chef that just lost all claim to fame because of the Me Too movement?
Oh, he had his rape dungeon, Mario Batali.
Yeah,
That's
Mario
it,
Batali.
yeah.
With his
He had a
Crocs.
rape dungeon?
And
Yeah.
that just like the drugs, I'm sure that's part of the culture. The salty mouths and behavior, and that's you work and your hours are different, and kitchen behavior is probably not dining room behavior. So maybe something from his past had caught up to him, and he didn't want his daughter to hear about it. So he figured it won't come out if he kills himself.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you could speculate like that all day. I don't know. You guys know, though, that in the United States, that just in the past few years, suicide has skyrocketed.
Yeah,
seriously, and especially among white men from the age of like 14, early teens to mid 20s. Like, those numbers have gone through the roof, and nobody really knows why. There are people that have good guesses. Like Jordan Peterson has a good guess on that. I mean, he talks about this sort of where we're at now in the culture, where we've lost all sense of place and meaning and purpose. You have men in particular, and it's like almost like you can't even talk about it. If you say men's rights activists, everybody kind of snickers, like, oh yeah, men's rights activists, yeah, whatever. But you hear there are people talking that want to talk about this issue of suicide among men, and that's where it's really growing. And it's like, we don't know. Is it the fact that men are being castigated just for being men, for being masculine? Is it, toxic masculinity? Is that part of it? Is it that, they don't know how to, they don't know how to find relationships. They don't know how to get into that. So they just go and live a life of video games and then that's it. And,
yeah.
Who knows, but it's definitely a
I
problem.
didn't hear that statistic. I heard that there was no single demographic that was any greater. They were all greater. They were talking about the rate has increased in every state except one, Nevada. I mean, I guess it's because when you're at Nevada, when you're in Vegas, you're having a good time, and when you leave, you only feel guilty for what you did in Vegas.
You feel yourself when you get home. Like, that's surprising to me. That's really surprising.
Yeah. No, that was because with Kate Spade, she had died this week. I'm not really familiar with who she is. Some kind of
Kevin
designer.
Spade's sister. Yeah.
Well, it's
that's all I know.
Kevin Spade. Yeah, and he's the brother.
Her cell phone
Kevin?
cases
Kevin?
were like
David?
David Spade?
David Spade. Yeah, that's her brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So and they were so this has kind of been in the mainstream news, and they were talking about the statistics. So I hadn't heard the thing about men. I just heard that all suicide was up, so as much as 53% in some states, but no increase in Nevada. So
I
figure.
just think that just further proves that the happening is actually happening.
Yeah.
Everybody go watch that movie. It's
Yeah,
great.
remind me of the plot.
That is the worst
It is
movie
a
ever made.
terrible movie, but if
It
you've never
is
seen it, you'll get that
Fucking
reference.
Awful.
I need to clarify something because
Okay.
it'll help me understand this conversation a lot more. How recently is this going back that the suicide rates have been rising?
I mean, really high. I think just the last few years.
Yeah, I
like
think
2015.
the last 3 years.
Yeah.
That's what they were really concerned about was the spike since the last 3 years, and they were trying to correlate it. They could not, but they were wondering and theorizing if it had something to do with the opioid crisis and those kinds of things. So I don't know that there was any connection at all made, but they were trying to find those kinds of common denominators. So
I think it could be slightly attributed to the fact that the world is just a lot more depressing now.
Is it?
With
Yeah, I don't know.
some of this progress, this quote unquote progress that we've been seeing for all these squeaky wheels, it
yeah, I can see that.
it's pretty depressing to me, and I guess that could kind of tie into what Jordan Peterson was saying about the males not being allowed to be males anymore because it's too offensive. But 10 years ago, it wasn't quite as offensive, and it hasn't changed that much. So
Yeah, and it really has changed a lot just in a couple years.
Yeah, you're right on that.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with your perspective, and I'm a huge proponent. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I believe in self-soothing. You need to be able to work yourself out, and you got to be able to have fun without others. And when you're not having fun or you're sad, you need to pick yourself up. But that makes me sound like get yourself up, rub some dirt on over it. I don't really feel that way.
Yeah, a lot of people need to hear and it sounds cliche, but I mean, it's a real skill that people can develop, and they should hear it.
Well, this goes into kind of wanted to tie it to some religious stuff. This whole safe space, politically correct, like I can never be hurt, trigger warnings, and all that kind of bullshit.
cry closets.
Fucking cry closets. Look at Buddhism. Buddha's Four Noble Truths. It's like the core of where all Buddhist philosophy comes from. The very first. Number one is all life is suffering. Life is suffering. Number two is the reason you suffer is because you desire things. You crave things. Number three is if you want to end suffering, quit craving things. Mm-hmm. And then number four is what's called the Eightfold Path, which is how do you stop craving things? And you think about this in your daily life, like for instance, I'm at work and it's like really busy and it's raining and it really sucks and I'm tired and my fucking knee hurts or my back hurts or whatever. If I just sit there and all I think about is, man, when's this going to be over? God, I want to get home and do this and do that. And I can't, I'm really tired of this shit. You're basically enhancing your suffering.
Yes, exactly. You're making it more miserable than it has to be.
You have taken yourself out of where you're at and you're projecting yourself into a better place, and you are pulling that desire in and you are making yourself hurt more. Mm-hmm. If you say, well, this is where I'm at and I'm going to be in the present and I'm going to be okay with it, it goes away. I've done this. This really works. Like if you're having a bad day, let go of what you would rather have and just be in it, and you'll find yourself out of that in no time. Yeah. So I mean, this stuff really, and it's the same thing in Christianity. The idea of take up your cross and bear it.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of, don't lay up your treasures here, lay them up in heaven. Like
right.
you're not trying to
accumulate wealth,
grasp at everything. You're trying to go toward a higher, in a sense, quote, higher purpose.
Yeah.
And it seems like in the U.S. and also in Europe, we've kind of lost that religious underpinning. We've lost it, and we have to find a way to replace it. But
it's something other than religion.
But you can't go. Well, it's like you can't go back to fundamentalists once that key's been unlocked.
Yeah.
Like. And this is what I'm living in all the time now, is just this idea of, well, yeah, I don't believe in God, but I've had some very interesting experiences. What do they mean? I don't know, but I'm open to those things, and I think even that at least helps to realize that maybe we're not just sacks of meat with really good processors.
Right.
Maybe we're. Well, what does that mean? We don't know, but at least we can think about it and have a goal. I mean, that's Jordan Peterson. The way he solves this is saying, take up responsibility. You're not going to feel empty and lonely and useless if you have a huge responsibility. And I would guarantee that if you go back a couple hundred years, that people lived much harder lives, very hard lives, but I bet they were more fulfilled and probably happier overall.
Yeah.
Despite all that hardship.
There's an interesting book that I read that's I don't know the author off the top of my head, but it's the Optimist. Now I'm referring to it, but The Rational Optimist, I think, is what it is. And basically it says, listen, what we have now versus what we had then is so much better. His argument most of the time is, you keep saying that things are so terrible and they're just getting worse, but really when you put everything in perspective, it is not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really enlightening to listen to it and put it in, he goes, in most of the countries, you would go out, shit in a bowl, throw it in a trench, go back in your house. And that's pretty much how, and you'd wash that bowl out and maybe you'd cook out of it later too, because you only got one bowl, and you skip the middleman and just go shit in the trench. And now we have indoor plumbing and bidets even. So
who got a bidet?
Dave got a bidet.
Shit. Bidet.
No, it is true. Like there's a group, I think it's called humanprogress.org, and they post stuff on Twitter all the time about here's how humans are doing better, here's how we're advancing. Like it's like 100 and something thousand people a day get pulled out of poverty in like India and China and different places in the world.
Nice.
But then I look over here and I'm like, people don't, it's just they don't realize what they have anymore. They don't realize where in the U.S. in particular, they don't realize what they have, and they kind of take it for granted.
I wonder if it's something to do with, like, it's a little less obvious the value that you bring to your community nowadays than it was like back when we were living in small tribes and villages. You were the fish guy, or you were the clothes washer, or you sewed up the clothes, moccasins, or this guy makes bows, this guy makes arrows,
bucket guy,
he's got his purpose.
Roadhead guy.
The animals are never bored as long as bucket guy's around.
Somebody's got to make those buckets.
Yeah. So now, probably it's probably a majority of people that have jobs that aren't that are maybe kind of hard to tell exactly where you are in the whole machine, and so finding that value in your own life is maybe difficult, and then that makes them want for physical things, and if they can't have them, and then even if they can have them, it's still not fulfilling because they don't feel like their life has value, even though they're able to afford things, Maybe we'll look back on this time as like a in between phase where humans were struggling to find their worth.
I like the fact of being smaller the older I get. Not be physically. Getting the stuff that one needs should be less and less. The amount of square footage you have should shrink.
Yeah.
And the things and the stuff and the stuff and the stuff.
I'm with you.
You just got to purge a lot.
I'm getting swole right now. I'm getting huge. I'm getting ripped.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could tell how serious he is by Becca's reaction.
No,
no. Ask her how serious I am.
He has been going to the gym 3 days a week.
Nice.
3 days a week. I'm probably gonna start going more.
Yeah, but what I want to know, I mean, are you just sitting in the parking lot listening to a podcast, or are you going in?
Oh, he's going in and lifting.
You going inside? Wow.
I don't listen to anything. I go in. I don't listen to anything. I just do what I'm doing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do what I'm doing.
Do what you're doing.
And for the record, I was laughing at the conversation, not at the thought of Nathan buffing
Getting
us.
swole.
It was because I was
Nah,
writing.
she ain't laughing.
I was
at
writing, like completely paying attention to what you guys were saying, and I heard you say as you go on, you should be taking up less, whatever you said, square inches or cubic feet, whatever it was you said, and I had the same thought.
You had the same thought
Of kind of what you said, yeah. But,
that I was getting swole.
yeah.
Before you said it, she was thinking, man, he's getting swole over there.
Ballooning up.
Yep. Old
I'll
Nathan.
have to buy new sleeves. Like I'll have to switch out the
No,
sleeves.
you're gonna
of
have
these
to
shirts.
get to no sleeve level.
Yeah,
That's what you're gonna have
no
to do.
sleeves.
No sleeves.
Call me no sleeves.
Yep.
No, I don't want to be called that.
Johnny Hammersticks.
Johnny and the sticks. Kind of tags on to what we're talking about real quick. Steve-O, pull up that link that I sent you. I want to bring this up. I tweeted this out to...
Got it.
Oh, I got Twitter now. Steve-O, did you follow me?
No, I didn't notice that you had one. I will,
Like 2
Is it-
weeks ago.
Oh, really?
No.
What? No, you didn't.
What is it, Nathan Walking?
I might have missed you, Dave. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Verbal assault, Nathan.
Oh.
Nathan on Twitter.
I didn't get any notification about you doing that.
Pretty sure I did. Pretty sure. Anyway, this kind of goes along with my diversity in comics thing. This is a guy, Ethan Van Sciver, he's one of these comic book artists that is, and he's a really, really good. He's like one of the top. He's really good. He's the guy that I've mentioned before he used to do great, and he's done X-Men and The Flash and all that. And he basically, his contract ran out from DC Comics, and he said, I'm kind of done with mainstream comics because there's so much political bullshit going on, and I'm tired of being called a Nazi because I'm a conservative. So I'm bringing back my old comic from when I was he started that Cyberfrog when he was 19 years old. He was like, what's good right now? It's Spider-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So he made Cyberfrog when he was in early 90s. So he's bringing it back. And he liked my tweet. He didn't retweet. I really wanted to retweet for the show.
Yeah.
He liked, I'm trying to get the retweets.
Yeah, it's hard.
There, he hearted it. So
I stand corrected. I just sent back the follow. Sorry.
Oh, what a moment.
Sorry. I did see it.
Was this a guy that's been like working on this comic for like years and years?
He did Cyberfrog in the 90s for 5 years, and he's coming back to it now.
Okay.
So he started an Indiegogo thing too, and I just backed that today.
I see a play button on here. Is this video something?
No, that's us. That's just us. It should be. That's his like little promo video.
Okay. Yeah, that's all it is. Should we play it or no?
No.
Okay.
It's all that to say that I'm really more and more getting into the idea of actively
supporting
people who are in the free speech realm, whether they're conservative or liberal, but who are about free speech, and really going after these fucking SJWs, scumbags who just try to ruin people's lives because they don't agree with everything they say. And it really is, it does get really crazy, the kind of things that they pull on people that just aren't in their politically correct mindset.
Well, all I do on the tweets is all game stuff. Mostly.
That's cool, man. That's
you do
cool.
you. You do you.
You do you, Dave.
So this is the guy that was like, they were like talking shit about him for something sexism related, right? And then he decided to do his own thing.
No, there's two of these. These guys are friends. The other one that I talked about, Jawbreakers, with this guy, Diversity in Comics.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a comic book artist. He was just a dude that had a YouTube channel. This guy is a friend of his that is a comic book artist.
Okay.
And he's done his own thing. And he also is one of the people. He's got his YouTube channel now has skewed way toward Star Wars stuff, like criticizing the current direction of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Really hilarious. He does some of the funniest. He has the driest humor, like the laid back, sarcastic style. It's really funny.
Like a dry gin.
Yeah. So I'm happy that there are people out there that are willing to put themselves on the line, their reputation, because people do come after them and call them Nazis. Like the reason this guy, Ethan Van Sciver, he literally had an art book that he did. He's the guy that designed the new, like Sinestro. Sinestro's the main bad guy in Green Lantern. He kind of updated Sinestro and he gave him kind of like the Hitler haircut, like he kind of comb over thing. And like 10 years ago, he did an art book that he only had when he was at conventions that he would sign for people, they would buy or whatever. And the front, he had this picture of Sinestro, with his fist up in the air, and it was called My Struggle. It was a joke.
Yeah.
Because it's like Mein Kampf,
Right.
My Struggle.
Right.
It's a fucking joke. And the guy is hilarious if you look at his videos and stuff. And that's being brought out as, he uses imagery in his artwork. No, he's drawing a fucking villain, and he's making this is a thing.
It's a villain.
It's so ridiculous now. So, and I would love for this show, and in part what I bring to it, that doesn't mean you guys have to, but what I bring to it is I want to be in that realm too, talking about these things, because I do think it's important. So, yeah,
I agree.
It is. There you go.
Speaking of free speech, I know Jerry was exercising some free speech recently.
Oh, let's
Was
hear
he?
it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You talking about
Hey guys, it's Jerry again. Just want to beat a dead horse a little bit. On the Snopes issue, I'll give you a fact. I have not checked them out in a long time since Obama was around, because of the fact that it's easily proven that they did contribute a lot to both his campaigns. And during the Obama administration, their reporting was biased. They may have changed that since then. If so, good. I don't trust them. And Bill Nye, we'll agree to disagree. I don't trust the guy. Onto a new subject. So it's been reported in many, many sources recently that there's more job openings in the United States than there are people claiming unemployment. So if there's all these jobs and all these people who are not working but are sucking off the government teat, I think it's time to wean them and force unemployment seekers to get a job. That means, in my mind, that means there'll be less people on unemployment. People that do make minimum wage and can't make it, maybe they can start receiving more benefits. There are people out there that just use unemployment benefits because they don't want to work. And I think if we could change the work requirements, that'll get some of those people out and working and being productive, and continuing to improve the economy. The economy is doing great right now, and we need more workers out there. So get those people who are collecting unemployment out there work. Just want to get your thoughts on that, and talk to you later.
I like that. Introducing a new topic into the
Yeah.
conversation.
I completely agree.
I mean, it's unemployment's on an all-time low too. It's like 3.8%. It's knocking on 4.
Now there was a thing, and I want to say this probably, I'm remembering something from like 4 or 5 years ago where people were talking a lot about the unemployment thing, and were pointing out that the unemployment numbers were dropping, but forgetting to mention that the disabilities numbers were growing. Like a lot of people were getting off of unemployment, and they realized that they could qualify for disability instead, and got on that.
I guess, yeah. Which teat are you sucking on?
Yeah, exactly.
And I definitely, this whole idea of if I get fired, I can somehow go claim this. It's always seemed ridiculous to me. I've never.
If I can manage to get fired, I will get paid half of what I was making.
Third.
A third of what I was making. Not be able to pay my bills, but not have to work either.
Yeah, I don't understand
I've never understood it.
I never have.
Unless you were just making a shitload of money before.
Desire to go, well, I guess I'll just get unemployment for a while. You can fucking find a job. It might not be one you want.
Yeah.
You can find a job. It might be one that you're even overqualified for, but you can find a job. Fucking Becca's begging for people to right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Like it is a problem when you have an economy that's growing quickly, and it has gotten to the point where unemployment is so low, then you start to have trouble hiring people. And I do agree with Jerry, this idea of, these people who are, as he says, sucking off the teat. I mean, I used to know this church I used to go to, there were these families that they would there was like these sisters, and they gave each other, somehow they adopted each other's nieces and nephews. So like one sister adopted her sister's kids, and then she adopted the other one's kids, and then they were getting all this fucking, I don't know how they worked it, but because I remember I asked someone, is that your brother? He's like, no, it's my cousin. I was like, did you guys grow up together? Yeah, it's my cousin. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. He makes a good point about the unemployment, but there are so many teats. I mean, and I have met
so many.
I mean, there are so many teats. It's like the bottom of a bassinet.
It's like Brad in a strip joint over here.
Yeah, he's so living. Anyways, there's the unemployment teat, which is always the one that comes up. But then there's just the disability teat, and
there's food stamps too. Is another one,
and it's not in and of it by itself. I mean, that's more of a nipple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a full teat.
Yeah,
it kind of supplements the other things, but it's the nipple on top of the teat. So, but
I mean, that's the part you want.
Yeah, I guess your mouth's on it either
business
way.
end.
But then you've got, and I used to have this guy that would work for us that is just a full-time student.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would pell the way through life, and he just kept making babies.
Yeah.
And I mean, he and his wife, and they were Christian folk, but I mean, he was very open about it. He needed to work so many hours so that he could qualify for the maximum amount of benefits.
Right, not too many, not too few.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that he could get all his Pell money and all of his government money so that he could continue to go to school. And then he would take, during Christmas season, when he was out of school, he would take time off because he would have the surplus from all his checks left over. So he didn't need to work as much.
Take a little Christmas vacation.
So, I mean, it was really difficult. He had, I don't know, he had 3 or 4 kids. His wife was a seamstress, and she did some things, and they were anti-vaxxers.
It should be.
But, I mean, it was that's a whole nother teat that I can't even wrap my mind around. I mean, you got to go to school and that's your work, but he had no degree, so he kept just changing his major over and over again, so that he would never graduate. He would just keep going to school.
So that's fallen in where
He was I mean, it was all Pels and stuff, and so he wouldn't quite finish, but then he'd do some doctorate work or something for this other degree while he's working on this other degree. So he was constantly playing a shell game of his majors.
Working that system.
Sounds exhausting and made up.
Yeah, but no, I mean, do you guys remember seeing the guy on TV in the late night commercials, the infomercials? He'd always wear that fucking suit with question marks on it.
Yeah.
It's my money and I want it now.
Kind of looks like Bill Nye.
Yeah. He had both that guy's books. He was also one that would go to different dumpsters too. I mean, he was working the whole thing. So,
well, it sounds like he's lazy and the opposite of lazy at the same exact time.
Right? I mean, he's cleverly using your money. I mean, and he had a sweet deal going with me. I'd make him a couple of large pizzas, and he would take the aprons home to his wife, and she would sew them.
Nice. It sounds like an instance where the government has incentivized him to do it this way, but at the same time,
those were his words. Why not?
Right, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It sounds like they want to know you're working, but they don't want you to work so much that you can't do your schoolwork. But they want to help you through school. It sounds. At first glance, it's like, oh, this guy's gaming the system. But then again, it sounds like he's been incentivized to. But it also sounds like the intention was good, but this is exactly what the outcome would be. With something like that.
That's why fucking socialism doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's that oldest joke from the fucking Soviet Union. We pretend to pay them and they pretend to work. That's what that is. Becca, how do you feel about all this?
All what?
All game in the system.
All this sucking off the government teeth, not working. How do you feel about it?
Well, usually I'm for it, but in this situation, I've never been that kind of person. I don't know. I always have a little more respect for people that work for what they have, and this guy sounds like he was working hard to keep up whatever it was he was doing, but at the same time still taking advantage. And I don't know. I just feel like there are some situations where you are blocked from being able to do things. You have something wrong with you that is the reason disability exists, is for people that literally cannot do anything. But then you have people that are like, well, I can't do something for this amount of time, so I'm just not going to do it at all. Mm-hmm. And then the money starts getting it's just like veins, like spreading out through everything to people who are less and less worthy and deserving of it. And like I said,
then you have entire communities like that where everybody's on the either disability or unemployment or something, and then they all kind of know what these other systems are and other grants or other opportunities for free money, and they exercise those as well. Right?
And some people feel stuck and feel like they need help, they need assistance. But I think that maybe they just haven't tried all their avenues yet. I think they just maybe haven't tried as hard as they could.
There's nothing wrong in a stopgap. I mean, that's exactly what it's designed for, not gaming the system. I mean, if I lost my job and somehow all my money got taken away, and this can happen, people, and I knew that I could go down and get food stamps just at the end of next week so I could put food on the table, yeah, I'd do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd do it. But then every time I'd take that card out at the counter, I'd feel, well, I'm not sure what the I'm not sure what feeling I would feel, but it seems dirty, and that's not really the right word. But
You think
Not ashamed, but
like every
I
time
have to do this, but I'm ashamed.
you should be
Both
part
at
of the
same
law
time?
where every time you like go up to the cash register or whatever for your food stamp thing, like
they ring a bell.
a light starts flashing and it's like sucking on the teat, sucking on the teat. Shame.
That's right. So,
Get a job, bum.
That's right. I would do that. I mean, I would do that. But I couldn't stay on it. I mean, I don't know. It might take 2 jobs to get off of it, but
We got to be careful to make sure, like, not to sound like we think that everybody that uses these benefits is taking advantage of them. Yeah, I mean, I know we all know that, but I want to put that out there, and I would be curious to know if I wonder if it's a majority of people that are on it are people that genuinely need it, or if it's a majority of people taking advantage of it.
I don't know. I would say it depends demographically where it is. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had a kid, if my kid was young, I would do it every day that I had to. I would just to make sure they had the food.
To
There's
take,
I
yeah,
nothing
you got
wrong.
somebody to take
The
care of.
unemployment thing. I'm with all you guys. You know,
At a time like this,
do you really need a third less?
Yeah.
By the time that you qualify to get that third less money,
You could already found a
you'd
job.
already had another job. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to wait another 2 weeks for a paycheck, but it would be one thing. I mean, it's so little money.
I had
So
a
little
friend
money.
that lost a job years and years ago and was very qualified and could have immediately gotten another, but decided to collect unemployment for about a year before they finally were just like, okay, I guess I'm going to go look for a job now.
I collected it once. I got laid off from a factory, and I collected 2 checks, and
Is this like right during the Great Depression?
yeah, sometime around there. Yeah, sometime around there. But
Hey, that's my ball you're sitting on.
that's true.
What?
Be good angle.
My
that's
yoke.
our ball.
Power.
I'm trying to remember what the case was. It was like you have to go down to get this to qualify for that. So I ended up getting the check. But you could only get 2 checks, and I had to go back down to continue to get them. I didn't. I mean, all you had to do was go down there and in that building and say, "Yeah, I'm here," and thumb through a book. I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just no. I had to take 2 checks for some reason. I don't even remember why.
I know some people that have lied to get food stamps, and it blew my mind that they worked that hard to lie to get food stamps for that.
But they can't work that hard to make the money.
Exactly.
instead.
I mean, they were making plenty of money. They were still lying to get the food stamp.
Claiming they made less money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've known some people like that too.
Here's what I can say definitively. You know, I do think that there is place for some kind of safety net just in case, you know, some shit happens. Let's not let you go on the street, but we should not be giving this money to illegal immigrants or even immigrants. If you're here legally and you're not a citizen and somehow you need to start collecting government
Yeah,
cheese,
I don't know about regular paychecks.
maybe you need to go back and figure shit out in whatever country you immigrated from.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that, you know, we've been paying taxes and Social Security and stuff all of our lives, or most of our lives, and that's so so we're getting some of that back if we need. But yeah, I can.
Yeah, system have the potential to benefit from it if you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be something separate. You know, I mean, yeah, we don't want to just leave people to die.
What was that?
Oh,
Okay.
like, what is that?
The Ziploc bag of the best fried chicken you ever had.
Best fried chicken. I've never had it either.
Biggest bag of drugs. Yeah,
that's what I
fried
thought
chicken.
it was at first. I was
Fried
like,
chicken is a
that
drug, my friend.
shrooms or something?
Oh man, I don't want some fried chicken. Derailed the whole thing.
Yeah.
God damn it, Brad.
I'm gonna title this the one episode that Brad ruins.
Yeah, the one. Oh.
Snapchat, Becca and I, like yesterday or day before, Zima.
Yeah.
It's around.
It's everywhere.
Walmart.
Yeah.
I seen it at Walmart. Just
way back when we
aisles.
talked about it, I looked for it, never found it, and now it's out.
I was about to buy it, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, we're gonna do it. We'll do it. Maybe we'll do it if we can.
On the 20th?
Yeah, we can get Todd when Todd's here.
Yeah, make Todd like, hey, no, we got your beer, bro. Just come by. We got all your alcohol. You're good to go.
What the fuck is this shit, Nathan?
Just try it. You might like
this
it.
ain't gonna do. We've got to go to the store.
I gotta go home, and then he never comes back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because he wouldn't. He wouldn't stand for it. So what you do is you get get a pack of bottles of whatever beer he would like and just replace with the Zima.
It's a Modelo bottle.
Yeah, Modelo bottles.
Or like the sixth one in, so that by that time he probably won't notice the difference anyway.
Coloring.
These got a lot sweeter the more I drink.
Yeah, wow, these taste a lot better now. What is that? Oh, it's that Zima.
They added the lime.
Becca.
Hey.
You had some questions you wanted to ask us.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah.
We'll just jump right into it.
Jump right into it.
I'm going to give you a scenario, and you're going to tell me whether or not you'd be okay with it.
All right.
What if every orgasm feels like the best one ever, but you have an orgasm every time you talk to someone?
Oh my God.
I don't get the question. Like, what do you mean?
Like,
would you take that deal?
This is going to happen
Would you take
to you.
it?
Yeah.
This is going to happen to you.
Okay.
Every orgasm you ever have is the best one you've ever had.
Yeah.
But you have one every time you talk to someone.
Okay.
So it's all the time. You get to feel this.
Hey,
There's people with.
hey,
like,
how you do?
Dude, you'd have to have an intravenous.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah,
You'd freaking dehydrate.
Yeah, there's a woman that's got like a disorder very similar to that, and she can't stand it.
Hey guys, how's it? Hey!
So I'm gonna have to say no to that one.
I want no part of that.
Yeah, you can't function in life if that's.
Well, I don't really talk a lot.
You get to control who you talk to.
Maybe that's why.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say. Should we just say no? Because I'm gonna
say no.
Yeah.
Everybody, I guess everybody's saying
and
no.
we're gonna see what percentage of people that play this game feel the same.
Okay.
74% of people
Said
so
no.
that 26% is a bunch of fucking freaks.
What the hell?
No, it's probably that they never had an orgasm.
Yeah, I
for
was gonna
real.
say
Like,
they're deprived or
Yeah.
something. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. It's great. It's cool.
Yeah.
But dude, I
They'll
mean,
enjoy it
It's.
for a bit.
Let me take it like this. What happens if you had hiccups often? Wouldn't that get tiring?
Yeah. it
Remember that
does.
one lady that
Can you
had
imagine
hiccups all
orgasm
the
by
time?
the time? Even though it's the greatest orgasm, it'd be. I'm over it, man. I'm tired of coming.
So that's kind of the idea. Like, supposedly the real Indian gurus, like why they don't have sex ever, is because they're in that state of samadhi with their meditation, where basically it just feels like they're orgasming all the time, mentally speaking, not physically, but they're in that state all the time. So if you can imagine what that would be like to be in that
endorphin release.
Yeah, be
and
in
stuff.
that present state all the time.
What-
That's the idea behind
What
it.
else does this thing require besides not ever having sex to get into that?
It's not necessarily required. It's like it depends on who you are. It's part of the path. Like for certain people, there are different kinds of yoga. Some kinds of yoga have the non-sex having as part of it. Some don't. Some have like Kundalini yoga, which is all about sex. Like they have crazy sex all the time, and they try to attain those states of mind extended for longer and longer. That's where you hear about like fucking what's his name from the Police having
Tantric.
sex for
Sting?
tantric,
It's called
Sting
tantric
having
sex.
sex for 12 hours or whatever. Yeah, it's like one of the ways is part of that is not having sex, but it's not like every way. Don't get worried. Don't be worried. not doing any of that. I'm not going down that path.
What I'm saying actually is so like if I knew somebody that was 50 years old that was still a virgin or just like constantly.
No. That because that 50-year-old virgin probably thinks about sex day and night all day long and is probably really
So
fucked up in the head.
Consciously put it out of their mind so that they can have it anyway. They can have that feeling without having the feeling.
It's probably not for that. They're probably not trying to create that feeling. I think it's just an analogy.
Giving it up is not what causes that state. It's not the cause of it. It's a whole system of doing things a certain way, breathing exercises, meditation, eating a certain diet, doing all these things together in a certain path of yoga. They all lead to the same thing, but there are many different paths, and they lead to that the state of samadhi, that the idea of that where your mind is always in that sort of trance-like kind of state.
That sounds like a weird fucking thing to do.
I mean, yeah, it is.
It is a lifestyle change for sure.
Doing what I'm doing. Take the sensations as they come rather than building it all up to one big sensation in the
You said come.
It's like, come. All right, what's the next one? God damn it. I shouldn't even say any of that. Let's go.
Okay. I want you to really think about this.
All right.
What if you get $10,000 per month for 25 years?
Is it government money?
But for the next 5 years, you may never take off your clothes, even when exerting your needs.
Ooh.
Easy. You could plan for that.
Yeah, you can
Butt
unzip.
flap
You can
on your
unzip.
pants?
No, I mean,
Well, you're
Fucking-
not taking off your clothes. You're only pulling your pants down. You
Yeah.
can still shit.
you said
your
never.
clothes
I
aren't
thought
off.
I thought you had to be naked, so never take off.
Yeah,
your
never.
clothes.
You'll
clothes.
become a never nude. That's what it's called.
Is that what it's-
Now that
Shower in
sounds
my
like
clothes?
fun. Let's hear
I mean-
about that.
If you shower in your clothes, you're kind of washing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
I
Yeah,
I would do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Five-
do it.
I would,
12
Totally.
years?
Yeah,
Oh,
10
hell
grand
yeah.
a month. Mm.
I'd even come up with ways of changing clothes without losing my clothes. I'd just
Yeah,
I put a shirt on and go,
the underwear would be the only part, but you could.
Not wear underwear.
Well,
Just really
Yeah,
not
that's a
wear
tough
underwear.
transition.
you're
Really wide, or just wear a skirt and no underwear. If you're a man, wear
Oh,
a
yeah.
kilt. You'll
Yeah.
feel manly.
Yeah.
Fucking there you go. Take a shit. Wear a
Like
kilt.
a crab.
Fuck yeah.
yeah, totally. I mean, you
Yeah.
could there's no doubt you could definitely make it work.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no way I would
So,
do that.
Since we found loopholes, we're gonna go with yes on that one.
They're not loopholes. Wait, what was the thing? What was the stipulation that you said in there after you asked the question?
What?
You just couldn't ever take off your clothes.
Even
Yeah.
when
When exerting your needs.
needs. Oh, I see. When you said, I thought you said knees, like you're exerting your knees. Yeah. Oh man, every time I'm like doing squats, all I want to do is take my clothes off.
Yeah.
Players are
Oh
gonna hate
shit! I
it.
my
didn't wear
knees.
my knee pad.
I
My
can-
knees are killing me. I gotta get my.
What are you doing that you? What are you doing
Wait,
that
I
you?
can't damn it, this dude's
I'm just-
$10,000.
I've been laying carpet all day. My knees are killing me. I gotta get this fucking shirt off.
I'm just curious. Like, what were you thinking? Like of exerting your knees? What are you
Yeah.
doing to exert your
Giving
knees?
some-
That was
Tantric sex again.
yeah.
Knees.
My head.
I don't know. That's why I was confused. But I was rolling with it, and we started talking about taking shits, and so I'm like, yeah, we'll go with that. I'll loop back around and ask what the fuck that was supposed to mean.
We'll
I
just call
bet
you Tommy
you-
Noble.
Yeah.
Oh, 90% said yes on that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
easy.
How about 31%?
What?
People said yes.
These people
31.
They have
imagination.
no imagination.
Holy
Good
idiots.
thing we do.
They don't know what a kilt is.
Yeah, man. I would
Jesus.
down with that, man.
Kilted every day, man.
Yeah, of
course
course
for
it up,
that,
man. It'd be
thanks.
sweet.
I mean,
Down on
if
my-
you can, well, okay. So I'm assuming you're receiving these paychecks while this is going on, because right? Because it said you get this much for this long, but the first 5 years you blah blah blah. You got to not take your clothes off, right? So you can afford to just buy new clothes. You can pull pants on over other pants and then take scissors down in there and cut the legs so you could just pull the older pants out. And you've been wearing them for 2 months anyway, so you're ready to toss them anyway.
You get baggy pants, you could go down the front.
I mean, y'all
check the butthole. Make sure it's still there.
Every time you shower. Who threw away these fucking clothes?
Dave, I like your idea.
Yeah, how do you dry it?
Huh?
How do you dry yourself?
You walk around in the sun.
You change the clothes.
Dryer.
You change your clothes. While you put a shirt on over that wet shirt. Yeah, it's gonna be a little damp, but you need to take that shirt and you just hang it up.
I
will tell you that Dave. What Dave is saying. What Dave is saying about wearing clothes and taking a shower is like an old traveler's trick. That's like people on the Camino do that. Shower in my clothes, and I wash my clothes as I wear them in the shower. That is the thing.
Yeah, and you won't even dry them because it's so hot out.
Yeah, you just dry off eventually.
This scenario does not say you get $10,000 and you're in the desert and you can never take off your clothes.
I understand that. I am telling you what I would do, and I don't understand why the 30% think that. Oh my God! 5 years and not changing clothes. I can't. It's too much. It's too much to think about.
Well,
I like cats.
You can take your first $10,000 and invest in like a human-sized dryer.
Yeah.
And you just stand in there after you take your shower.
Or you could have your squirrel fan, a big old squirrel fan that costs you $300.
What the fuck is a squirrel fan?
It's like sitting up there like it's got a big old thing. You still from it huge. They used to draw concrete.
Oh yeah, the squirrel. I gotcha. Yeah.
For you. As you poop your pants.
Weekend and eating nuts and shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Staring at you.
You laugh now, but you start fucking with me, you get your ass pelted with some nuts, bro. Death by
Dave.
acorns.
Dave, why are you getting so violent this episode? He threatened to kick me earlier.
Man.
Something about throwing nuts.
Hang on.
Hope they're not
Silly
your own
My bad,
nuts.
guys. I have not been doing my due diligence. I ain't even got the putty out.
Damn.
That's the problem. That's what it is.
Does that change colors?
They're just squirrel fans.
Squirrel.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Becca, another question.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are ready for this one.
Next question.
What if you have a bag of chips that never gets empty, but you will never be loved?
What?
You either get chips forever or love. That's your
chips.
choice.
I don't need chips.
Yeah.
now.
You can either have shit stuck between your teeth for the rest of your life, or no love.
I think
or have love.
Yeah.
Chips. I
Fuck
guess
chips.
I bet they say it's all that in a bag of chips a lot.
Yeah.
It's all that and a bag of love.
Yeah.
Okay, let me reverse it. What if you had a full bag of love, but you could never have chips again?
Definition of a full bag of love. Yeah.
I've already got a full bag of love.
Play this game.
I need to know what your meaning
full bag of love.
Before I got in trouble.
You didn't get in
I'm
trouble.
gonna say
You're just weird.
We've already talked about that full bag of love.
Are we
You
talking
didn't
about like
it.
the full
It's
5-gallon
dudes.
bucket of love?
Hey, it gave those 15 kids rabies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The gurus, those gurus have a full bag of love all day long.
Yeah.
You didn't like that path.
I need a full bag of love with my bucket.
The Jingle Man today.
Jingle Man.
That's right, man.
It's the most we've ever heard Dave sing on the podcast.
As long as we don't ask him to,
As,
he'll
yeah,
do
as
it.
long as it's not a
It's
game.
true. It
that-
has to be spontaneous,
Yeah.
like combustion.
Yeah.
just like it. Okay, well,
Combustion is only ever spontaneous.
you guys are really happy to know that 10% of people that play this game would rather have the chips.
10%.
10%.
Fucking weirdos.
Okay.
I think some of these responses are probably people just trying to buck the system. You know, they're like, yeah, I like chips better than I like love. I don't need nobody.
Nobody would love me anyway, but I like chips.
Yeah.
Bag
As long
of
as
chips.
it could be Cheetos.
That's right.
It's never going to leave me because
Bag of chips
it's
won't
always full.
go behind your back every weekend, fuck your brother, and then take all your money and sell, man, and your kids. Bag of chips won't do that.
Well, you're in Iraq.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A bag of chips costs less than dinner for two.
Whoa,
man!
mid-show poetry.
Whoa. This is new.
All right.
Okay, here's one. What if there was peace on Earth?
Okay.
That's what everybody wants, right?
Sure.
But
Internet disappears.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
no.
Yeah.
Go back in time for a little bit of peace.
Back in time to win.
Back in time.
When was that?
Oh, before there was internet.
What, the 80s? Yeah, that'd be
To
sweet.
any time that there was no internet before
Yes,
now.
but there wasn't peace.
Yeah, but yeah, that's not what she's saying. Yeah, I got you. Have no internet. I mean, if it means what it sounds like it means, I mean, everybody's good to go. Nobody's hungry or thirsty or.
No. Didn't nobody say nothing about hunger.
You can't-
All it said was world peace.
You
There's
can't
a bunch
take
of
away
hungry
Dave's
fuckers out
gaming.
there. They just
The
can't pick
reason
up a
there's
rock.
peace is because everybody's starved to death.
Yeah,
Everybody's dead.
and
yeah.
there's no internet, so knowledge ceased to exist across planes. So now you're just a bunch of
No,
Cease to
it
doesn't
exist.
cease to exist.
Internet goes.
Oh,
knowledge.
There's no more knowledge.
Give it 30 years and
All books disappear.
that's right.
Yeah, we don't have a single book from before like 1940, right?
That's right.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is right.
Okay, well,
But I don't want to
we're taking peace over internet.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Oh, we
I want
love-
the internet.
won in this game.
Oh, okay.
Steve-O says internet.
I want internet.
What's internet?
Oh,
The rest all fall into place, right? Is that
Eventually, we'll figure out world peace.
Yeah, our AI
Eventually.
overlords will enforce peace.
That's right.
Okay. 52% of
Ooh,
people answered
okay.
yes to that. So
That's
that
a
was
positive.
very-
That's a positive
Interesting.
direction.
Yeah. half and half. Yeah. I'm surprised that this being on your phone over the internet that is actually that close.
Are y'all ready for this bullshit?
All right, this
All
is
right, we're ready for it.
last
Okay.
question. Last
Last
question.
question.
This is a filler question. There's going to be one. There has to be one right
Okay,
before.
Uh-huh.
filler
right.
question.
So this is an app
You only
that
thought this
that I got called What If, and it just I guess generates these random things. And the one that I just got was, what if you could make 3 kind app developers very happy, but you had to give their app a high rating?
Oh, I'd be like, fuck that.
That's a
I'm
pretty
gonna
good way
say-
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right.
I'll go ahead and give my
I'll be
yes.
all right
Let's see if
with
this.
that, yeah.
Yep, it sure did.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's totally gonna take you out and put you in the app store.
that's
48% of people answered like that.
Yeah,
I
That's
wonder-
probably more than usually
yeah.
whenever that thing pops up.
and they probably did exactly what you did, just back right out of that. If you hit yes.
yeah, that's
Oh,
what
and not actually left a review.
I
Did
Okay.
me last week.
Apparently, this is the last question. Apparently,
Last question.
what if your lifespan is increased by 50 healthy years, but you step on a Lego brick when you least expect it a couple times a day? For the rest-
Huh.
I'd take it.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
probably
I'll
say
I'll take it.
yeah,
I'll
you can
take
get
it.
deal with that.
Yeah.
that would
It's a
make
no.
you so mad.
Hello.
a
Lived
couple-
it.
What if you're wearing shoes? I
You've
mean,
lived it 3 times a day, every day for your entire life.
I mean, you could tell them, and they'll pick up the Legos, but invariably there's one that gets left behind. It got stuck on the cushion, or it was underneath the plate, or the stuffed toy. And even though the Legos are picked up, there's still one there that you step on.
Did you
Underneath-
3
just
times a day.
underneath the plate.
did you just
Trying to cut my steak. What's going on with this plate? What? How did this get here?
I'm telling you, it happened. Little hot dog plate there, little paper plate with some hot dogs on it. Bam.
is this a Dave's rant?
Nah.
Legos? No.
Well, it sounds like you remember it fondly, so I can
Yeah,
understand. why you
Legos
say
were
this.
awesome, and still to this day, still have 3 5-gallon buckets full of Legos.
Watch the toys that made us. They did Lego for this new season. It's pretty sweet.
Where'd you
Yeah.
get those 5-gallon buckets, Dave?
Home Depot.
Huh.
Dave's not the bucket man.
Oh, dang. God. I wish I'd seen that coming. I'd have played into that a little better.
Yeah.
This guy just sold it to me. He said he wasn't using it anymore. Got in trouble every time he did.
Yeah.
It smelled weird.
Working at Home Depot in the back. Is that what he's doing?
It's a sticky bucket.
Like it's just the adhesive.
It helps
All right.
the other buckets stick together when you stack them.
Easier to carry.
Yeah.
That's what I always want in a bucket, is that it'll stick to another bucket.
And when you get your hands in it,
anything I
you
want.
can't lose the bucket while
Yeah.
you're holding it. It won't slip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buckonomics.
Yeah.
And if with a nice full bucket, you just stick your fist down in there and just like let it harden.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let the goo like harden around your fist, and then when you lift your hand up, you've got like bucket fists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Fuck it.
Bucket.
Bucket. Fucking fists. Oh man, you know what I wish I had here, Dave? I wish I had just like a speaker, like right here on my like a cop does, you know, and just where just periodically you could just chime in with whatever just was said, and you could flip the first letter of each word, and everybody has a laugh.
Everybody is connected on the same system too. So.
Yeah, but it doesn't bother you, you know. It doesn't distract you from your normal life. It just whenever somebody says two words that are just that perfect switch, it somehow pings in Dave's ears, and he just turns to his thing and goes, "Perfect switch." Everybody.
And the world joins in laughter.
That's a great idea.
Fucking bists.
My favorite of all time that Dave ever did with that was one day somebody said, "Count the money," and Dave said, "Mount the gunny."
You can't say that at work.
Can't say it. And she
You can't say that. That's a lawsuit. Me too.
What kind of a shit is running here?
Yeah. What's going on? All
Good
right,
times.
Becca, it's that time of the show again.
I already did a poem, but I'll do another if you want.
This is a sequel.
This one is called The Bucket Man. Anything you want can be found at the warehouse. Skill and meaning and purpose and human progress, also known as shit in a bowl. Wash that bowl out, replace it with more shit. Go to the closets, get our skeletons out, and go. Struggling to find our worth has never been more biased.
That might be one of your best.
Might be.
Nice.
That was. I like that one, man.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song.
Thank you, Patreon subscribers.
Check us out on Patreon. Like, subscribe, all that shit.
Anywhere you get podcasts, leave good ratings, 5-star reviews.
We might shout. We will shout you out.
Shut you out.
Leave a nice review.
Do it.
Say something. Steve-O, what's that number people can call in like Jerry did tonight?
Oh, just like Jerry. And man, I thought I had it today. I got some cables, and I was like, I'm going to have it set up so that we can receive phone calls. And I just been sitting here staring at the gear that I have and just trying to figure out how to make it go through to the person that is on the phone, and how make it where they can hear you, but you're not hearing yourself, and you can hear them, but they're not hearing. It is very difficult to do in a budget. But if you would like to leave us a voicemail like Jerry did today, call that number at 865-316-6955.
6955. Dave, what was that number?
Well, that number would be 865-316-6955.
You're crazy.
Okay.
Hey, and everybody go follow Nathan. He's new on Twitter. Verbal Assault Nathan. One word.
I put shit up there. It's there.
It's going to be
Right.
there. He'll be there
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I'll be there for you.
Before.
When the rain starts to pour.
Before I'll be there again. Thank you, everyone.
This is